welcome to this video. Welcome to whatever this is, which is actually a long-awaited video. It will take many hours to edit and probably a couple hours to actually record. So I might take a few breaks in between because doing that for so long is tiring. As per the title of the video, you know what you're coming into. It's a bookshelf tour of my, I've lost count, probably like 203 books that I own. But yeah, so let's not waste time. Oh, we're gonna do, it's been okay. Now, I have not done a bookshelf tour in a long time. Last one I did was about four and a half years ago, and now I'm doing another one. But that one had not even a full shelf filled. It had like maybe three and a half. I have like so much now, and I feel like an update needs to be made because I got rid of a few books. I have so many others. Granted, I do have a book on the way from Book of the Month because I entered that subscription. But that is the only book that will not be here because I have not ordered any others. So, yeah, this is going to be a bookshelf tour. We're going to do it the same way as I did it last time, which is go book by book. And maybe eventually I'll talk about my organization process behind all of this, and we'll see how it goes. Honestly, this is a long-awaited video because I planned to do this 2 months ago and I didn't, obviously. Also, my shelves are a mess currently, but you know what, I didn't feel like fixing that before making this video, so you'll just have to deal with the things that aren't normally on my shelves that I'm not going to talk about. So let's just get into it, because this video is going to be long enough. Alright, now because I have 2 bookcases now, we're going to start with the top shelves here, and then work our way down, and so on and so forth, so I don't have to keep changing camera angles, and I hope all of the books are actually in this. Are they? No. I will have to move the camera a little bit, but not as much as if I went this shelf, then this shelf, then this shelf, and down and down and down, and then back up here to this one, then this one, and this one, and all the way back down. So it'll just be a little shifting sideways. Okay, let's get into it. Let's start off over here. How I did this ages ago was I brought out all the books one at a time. And I'm going to do that still because that's how I feel like doing it. This should be here. I'm sorry if sound went a little awry. So we're going to continue doing it that way. And you know what? We'll just get into it. I got too many books for me to delay this any longer. Let me see if I can. Alright, we're going over here. Again, we are going to go across here, but this is so sound actually works for this. I really should have just put batteries into my uh, wireless mics, and sure, the sound's not. I don't know if the sound's actually better on this or those, um, but at least you would have had decent sound that I was using at one point in time. Now, so we're gonna start up here. Bookshelf tour, we're starting off with a bookmark that's up here. And that is a bookmark I made for Stalking Jack the Ripper, obviously. It fits the color scheme and the tools that are on the back of the book. And so, because I don't feel like pulling individual books of a series out at a time, I'm pulling out entire series at the same time because that makes more sense. If only I could get this out without looking at it. So our first 3 books are actually books that almost don't make sense to be in my shelves because they're not fantasy. And that's the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. Books 1 to 3 out of 4. Because I never even finished this one. And that's probably a testament to how much non-fantasy or sci-fi I can handle. Was 2.5 books. Now, for our next set. Oh, God, these are all heavy. Oh. Marissa Meyer, why have you done me so? Is the Renegades trilogy, of which I still haven't finished. You know what? This whole top shelf here is probably things I started and didn't finish. Or, in some cases, I did read them. Or I haven't even read them yet. There's a lot on this shelf that probably shouldn't be on here. But they are. And I probably should put something else, but you know what? This shelf was organized purely by height. And that's why things are on here. But anyways, Renegades. Yes, it's a cliched superhero. Like, you get all the superhero cliches in these, and the villain cliches. But honestly, not half bad. I haven't finished reading this. I haven't started Supernova. But one day I will. I might have to reread Renegades and Arch Enemies, and then maybe I don't think I did book talks on these. Maybe I'll do book talks on them when I reread them, like I did so long ago for the entire Mortal Instruments series, and then I just stopped doing rereads of Cassandra Clare. I stopped reading Cassandra Clare, period. Nothing against Cassie. I've just grown tired of the Shadowhunters world, and there's so many other worlds out there that I could learn, and I got really tired of the Dark Artifices, and that's why I didn't continue. Now, Marissa Meyer is one of my auto-buy authors, and that's because I literally have all of her books here, I think. And our next book on the shelf is actually Heartless, the first book to really make me ugly cry, I believe. Yeah, it was the first book to make me ugly cry. Now, I'm not someone who cries easily. I hate crying. There's a lot of trauma behind that and behind the reasoning of that, but I don't like crying. However, this book lives up to his name, as in it will rip out your heart and make you heartless. Some of these characters are actually heartless, and I haven't read this book, in... When did I first read this? When did this come out? Because I read it when it came out. 2016. I haven't read this since 2016, and I still have strong emotions for it. And I'm not going to spoil those strong emotions, but if you want to get your heart ripped out, please read it so that you can feel the pain I feel. Now, our next Marissa Meyer, and our last one for a little bit, Gilded, of which I did start, didn't finish. It just wasn't hitting it for me yet. I think I've read too many, like, fae related books, so, and this does have a lot of fae in it, so I wasn't too keen on reading it when I bought it, and I tried to start it. In fact, I marked my spot with the sleeve, and that's probably not good. That probably deformed the sleeve. I got to chapter 11. Decent. But yeah, it's not, there's nothing wrong with the book. It's just there's too much fae. I've read too much fae stuff after a certain series that's in my bookshelves that I still haven't finished. I think I've just read a lot of fae stuff, and there's nothing wrong with fae books. It just seems like it's the only thing coming out as of late, and I like fae related stuff, but it can be too much. And so didn't finish. Next we have The Bone Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart. Have not read. Looks beautiful though. I would love to read it. I just have to prepare myself to read a first-person book. Next, we have a book I don't like touching. Let's just... do I need to have the book sleeve on? Yes, I do. We have a book I don't like touching, and I'm going to touch not the cover, not the book sleeve, because it is a sensory thing that I hate. We have Age of Ash by Daniel Abraham. I bought it because it looked cool. And I bought it online. If I had known what this cover felt like, I never would have bought it, because this cover feels ashy. I guess it fits with the title of Age of Ash, but it feels so ashy. And anyways, so yeah, Age of Ash, I don't know if I'm ever going to read it because I cannot stand the jacket. But you know what? I have it, so in case I ever want to. Next, we have The Unspoken Name by A.K. Larkwood. I started reading like a few pages of this book, and it was nice. It was good. I just started reading it in bad times of my life, so that's why I haven't actually read it. And next, we have Once Upon a Broken Heart. As you can see, I tried to take a sticker off and failed. So with this book, I am reluctant to read it because I realize it is a fantasy romance. I think it's a fantasy romance. Could just be a romance. A romance book that looks like a fantasy. But in the event I want to read a romance, a more romance-heavy book, this dog does not know how to sit quietly. But in the event I want to read a romance-heavy book, I have one. Next, we have Daughter of the Burning City, a book I bought a long time ago and have never read. And now we have the book, I think the only book I've ever done a rant video on. Because normally I know what I'm getting myself into with books. But this, I believe this was my first Dark Academia. I'm not impressed. The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. If you want to hear my thoughts on this book, you can go to the video that's going to be linked in the iCard, because I'm not impressed by the book. I had some hopes for this, and they were dashed. That's all I will say, and that's all we must say about this book. Our next one is a duology. Okay, we have Igniting Darkness and Courting Darkness. These two books here. We have these. They're pretty. They're lovely. That's why I bought them. And then I found out they were a sequel duology. There's a prequel trilogy, which we'll get to in a moment, because those ones are in paperback, because I couldn't get hardbacks. Sadness. Tear. But they're pretty. Okay, something I don't like about the difference of these two is one has deckled edges and the other doesn't. And they're part of the same fucking duology. Okay, next up, we have one of my favorite duologies, because Leigh Bardugo is a queen when it comes to writing fantasy worlds, and that is the Six of Crows duology. And oh my god, I loved these books so much. I remember putting these off because I wanted to read the original Grisha trilogy first. I probably could have read this without that. Could have. But I'm glad I read the Grisha trilogy first, because if I had read the Grisha trilogy after this, I would have been disappointed, because I know myself. I'm so glad for this, and I cannot wait for season 2 of the TV show, because they're actually doing a decent job with the TV show. And it's nice. It's nice to be a fan of a book and book series, book chronicles if you have it, and when producers actually are actually doing a decent job. Like, I know there's a lot of changes that were made, I realize that, but where they did it right in the Grisha, in the Shadow and Bone TV show, and the Shadowhunters TV show did it wrong, is the changes are acceptable. Like, I can accept some of the changes. There are changes in the Shadowhunters TV show I will never accept, and I can't. And also, the acting in the Shadowhunters TV show was way worse. It was just so bad. And also, plot lines in that one, they could have done much better. Like, they could have. And I actually liked the Grisha TV show. I don't know anyone who has a real problem with it, but I liked some of the changes they made. You can also watch a video on my opinion on it, because I did make an opinion on it, because I was not expecting something that good because of what I've had in the past with Shadowhunters and other book to movie or TV show adaptations. Usually it ends up being awful, but it was enjoyable to actually watch. And we got the last two books on this shelf, so I can stop having this thing right here and there's a cord touching me, which is King of Scars duology. I do still have a problem with these covers. How one of them's glossy, one of them's matte. One of them has a plastic finish, the other is not plastic. So the textures are very different. I can get away with the colors, but like the textures, different completely. I still have not read these, but I will soon. I promise, because I really want to see. I really want to see what happens with Nikolai. I think that's his name. It's been a really long time since I've read the books, but I believe that's his name. Now, I just gotta clean up the mess I made. Let's continue with more Leigh Bardugo books, because that's how I organize this. Now, it may shock you to see all hardcovers on that first shelf transitioning into paperbacks. I wanted to keep Leigh Bardugo's books together, so this is how I did it. So we've got the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I got the paperback covers of the newer covers. I couldn't get the older covers, and I would actually get the older covers if I could right now, but I've had issues finding them, and so I don't have them. The book collector in me tells me I should try harder, but I'm not. Next, we have 5 books. One of them is not a full novel, and that is The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. Thank God, one of those. Cinder is... Yeah, Cinder? No, Winter is puncturing me. But, yes, so we got these books. Honestly, a great sci-fi series. This was actually my introduction into sci-fi era stuff that I would actually like, and I was super happy with it. I also love fairy tale retellings, so it's probably why I love Marissa Meyer so much, but these are such good books. Next one is another trilogy I loved and I want to reread, because I don't think I actually did book talks on them, so I could actually reread them and use them for book talks. But yeah, this is such a good trilogy. In my opinion, I love it. I love everything about it. It's so good. And that is the Frostblood trilogy. I remember picking this up. I remember picking Frostblood up because it's a stupid reason, but I was young and naive, and there was this epic reads thing online where you pause the video and whatever book you land on, you should go buy next. And I did that. I got Frostblood, so next time I went to the bookstore, I bought it. Again, really stupid idea, but it got me a book that I actually really love and I probably wouldn't have read otherwise. And just because the cover is not very capturing. And I know we're not supposed to judge by covers, but we do it anyways. We all know this. But I'm so glad I did pick this up. And then when I read it, I was like, oh no, I need the next book now. And so I went online, I ordered it, and then I got it within a few days. So yeah, I'm super glad, and I kind of want to reread them again. Maybe do a video on them. But you know, we'll see. There are a few videos that I would love to do for like rereads of books that I read in all of my times out of the channel, not uploading anything for the channel. So let me know in the comments if you ever want to see that. Next is the Ruby Red trilogy. I have videos on almost all of these, and actually one of the videos, I technically have a video on all of them, but I realized one of my videos from so long ago on these books didn't got listed as private. I don't know how it happened, and I've looked at it. I noticed this about a year ago. I noticed it just sitting there in unlisted. And I'm like, what if I make this public? But then you know that but it's so long ago that it's so cringe, and I just don't know if I want to. And I think it's on emerald green. It could be on sapphire blue, but I'm pretty sure it's on emerald green. And let me know in the comments if you want me to just like make that video public, because if you ever want to finish seeing my reactions on it, those are my true and honest first reactions. And yeah, this is a really lovely trilogy. It's not like the best, but it's really good, and the time travel in it makes it very interesting. I love books with time travel because it makes you think. Next, we have that prequel trilogy I was talking about with Courting Darkness. And this actually does have its own little name. It's not Grave Mercy trilogy. It is His Fair Assassin trilogy. And honestly, good title for something. I've not read it. I want to, but I'm lazy. Next we have the Red Rising trilogy. I read the first book. Have not continued on to the second book, or the third, as obvious. But I want to. I do enjoy Darrow's journey throughout this, but like I do want to see where Darrow's journey takes him. But yeah, why am I doing this? I don't know. Maybe to see if I can stand still. But yeah, so I am going to get back to it eventually. It's just sci-fi is not as important to me as fantasy. And also let me just put it this way. Some things, like first person POV, the male main character can sometimes be difficult to read for me. I don't know why. It just is. So that's why you're not getting it as soon as others. Next we have The Darkest Minds book I own. I have read all of the books, and I do mean to buy the rest of them. I just haven't done it yet. But I have the first one. Next, we have the movie cover for I Am Number 4. I bought this at a thrift store. I did not pay full price for this. I did not pay... Why don't you have a Canadian price on you? This is $10 in the US. So, probably about $12. I did not buy it for that. I bought it for $2. And honestly, I am planning on getting the rest of the series. I'm planning on getting the original covers for the entire series, because I love that sci-fi world. I love everything about the Lorien legacies, and I know I've only read one. I'm just gonna bring them out now. They're right next to it. I know I've only read Generation 1, and I need to read Fugitive 6, and I need to buy the third one, which is going to show up here. I need to reread this first. It's been a very long time. Then I can read this, and then I will be happy in the world again. Maybe. Considering the things that were done in the first series, I don't know if I'll be happy. Because no character is safe. So, stop remembering. Stop. Now, I have Zenith by Sasha Alsberg, who is, or at least was, back when this book was written, a booktuber. And Lindsay Cummings, don't know who that is. But Sasha Alsberg, I used to watch her back when I watched BookTube regularly. I don't anymore. Probably should, because I'm making content for BookTube. I'm really bad at watching my other people's content related to me. So yeah, the Androma Saga, whatever. I've not read. This is an impulse buy because I saw Sasha Alsberg's name, and I have not even touched this. Also, I like how Sarah J. Maas is up here. That's nice. I'll get to it eventually. Since it's a saga, maybe I'll buy the rest of the books as soon as I find them. I haven't heard anything else. Actually, let's do a little Google search. Make more work for my editing for me later. Just as a side note, I really hate that earlier today me decided to make more work for myself, so I'm kind of mad at myself for this. Because there's already a lot of work to do for this video. Nexus is the next book after it. And when was this released? In 2019. So it's a duology, I guess. They have mediocre ratings, but yeah, maybe I'll enjoy it. It looks like sci-fi, so you know, could. Next is a series Next is a duology I have listened to the audiobooks in order to read these, which is Sky Without Stars Between Burning Worlds by Jessica Brody and Joanne Randall. Oh god, these are heavy. I forgot how heavy they are. So yeah, you can watch my book talks on these to know my feelings about them. Any books you see here that I have videos on, you'll know. Next we have The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller. Honestly, it is a really good book. I read most of it. The only reason I never finished was because things happened, and I do have a video on why I DNF'd this and why I probably will never get back to it. So yeah, I have a video on why I DNF'd this and everything that was going on at the time. That one will definitely be linked in the iCard, I think, if I manage to have the time. But yeah, so this is it's actually a good book. I liked it. I really did. It's just I couldn't finish it because of events that happened in my life that ruined the book for me. Because my family are dicks. Next, and I have a book talk on each of these, and you can go watch them. You can probably find the playlist for them. Is the Shadow of the Fox trilogy. In trilogy, that started out okay, mediocre, and on their own, not especially spectacular, but altogether, these books really do speak a great story that's very heart-wrenching. And thinking about it again, thinking about the ending, I'm gonna stop, because if I start thinking about that, I'm not gonna stop crying. Let's move on, shall we? We have Incendiary by Zoraida Cordova. I think that's how you say that. I know this is based on the Spanish Inquisition. I don't know much about the Spanish Inquisition because I did not pay attention in class. But I know it's based off of that loosely. Nothing else really to say about that. I have not read it. Now we're just gonna do rapid fire now because I'm getting tired. We're gonna do if I've read it or if I haven't, and if I enjoyed it and if I haven't, and you know what? If I have videos on them, you better find them in my catalog. Next we have a trilogy. I have read the first book in this, and it is The Prison Healer. I've started The Gilded Cage, and obviously I've not read the third book. Next, like I said, rapid fire. Oh my god, why are these so heavy? They're so thin. We got The Shadow and Frost and Godstorm. Both by Coco Ma. Really solid, really good books. I honestly do think so. Now, we have Defy the Night. Hold on. I just realized something. Please don't tell me it's out. Please don't tell me it's out and I have completely forgotten it. It's out. Fuck. So we've got Defy the Night, and I need to buy Defend the Dawn so that I can read it. And it's out. It got released 2 months ago, and I just didn't notice. Next, I've got my own book, Princess of Lightning and Prophecy. But yeah, nothing to say about that. Next we have Crown of Bones by A.K. Wilder. You can see I started it. Never finished. Next, we got Lore by Alexander Bracken. Good book. Solid standalone book. Really good. Based on Greek mythos. So, really solid work. Considering all the things you could do with Greek mythos. The Diabolic. Never read it. Bought it on sale. As you can tell by the marker. By Esther Kincaid. I will not be reading this until I have the rest of the series. So, that one's going to be waiting a while. Next, She Who Rides the Storm by Caitlin Sangster. I started this. It's actually a solid read. I have not finished it because I was moving when I started it, and so I forgot about it. Next, we have Legendborn by Tracy Dion, with a sticker that is very difficult to remove. Have not read it. Do look forward to it eventually. Next, we have Fortune, Fire, and Stars. This was a DNF. Do I remember why? No. Why is it still in my shelves? It looks pretty. That's why. Why is there a glare now? Stop with the glare. Where's the glare coming from? Fuck, it's coming from that window that's already closed. Alright. Well, guess we're just gonna deal with the glare. Now, these aren't a part of a series. In all technicalities, because one takes place years after the other. But they're both by the same author, Adrian Young, and they also take place in the same world. Sky in the Deep and The Girl the Sea Gave Back. Stellar. Less stellar. That's all I'm saying. Beneath the Citadel by Destiny Soria. Great standalone. Loved it. Crossbones by Kimberly Vale. Good? I don't know. I haven't read it. Cryer's War Duology. Beautiful, as always. Never read it. You're going to realize I haven't read a lot of books on my shelf. And we got The Never-Tilting World and The Ever-Cruel Kingdom by Rin Shupeku. Read the first book. I've not read this one yet. Should do that eventually. 4 Dead Queens. Solid standalone. You don't see a lot of solid standalones in fantasy. So, that's really good. We have Shielded and Untethered. Still have not gone through Untethered. And I probably will never finish it. God, I loved the first book, but when you change who your main character POV from first person is, that doesn't sit right with some people. We have The Dark Shores, we have Dark Skies, and Gilded Serpent, all by Danielle L. Jensen. I have not finished this. I will eventually. I promise. I do love these books. I love the story here. I love it all. I promise to finish it. They're all really good books. Next, we have the Ash Princess trilogy. Honestly, good trilogy. Love it. Really do like it. There are some trigger warnings for specifically this one. But really good books in my opinion. Next, we have The Glass Bear duology, by Lauren DeStefano. Good duology. Love it. I loved every bit of it. Next, God. We have Onyx and Ivory and Shadow and Flame. Still have not even gotten too far into this one because of the prologue. Will I ever? Maybe. I don't know. Prologue made me upset. Alright, we got the first 4 shelves done. Which means we have 6 more to go. Kill me. Why do I do this to myself? Yeah, that's a good question. But you know what? That's a question I can't answer. Alright, we're down here. Do I want to take all of these books out at once? Oh, yeah, we're doing it. No. Yeah, we are. We have the Throne of Glass series. This is very heavy. God. By Sarah J. Maas. I have not read the last 3 books of that series. And we'll see if I ever do. Because I don't actually know. Next, we have all of my hardcovers of The Red Queen. You will see I don't have an original cover for The Red Queen in hardback. I do have one in paperback somewhere in the shelf. Next, we have a book that got destroyed a little bit. But you know what? It's fine. And this book is Bloodleaf by Crystal Smith. What a generic name. That's gotta be a pen name. Might not be, though. And I'm sorry, Crystal, if that is your actual name. That is such a generic last name. Anyways, Bloodleaf. Don't know a lot about it. I started it, got to like 3-ish pages. Got to like 20 pages. Next we have Kirsten White's And I Darken Haven't read it. Bought it on impulse because of booktubers. Uh, well, also it's fine. I got it on clearance. There's a dot. Because that's what bookstores do. If you go to the clearance section in the stores, some stores don't have a clearance section, but if you go to the clearance section, or bargain books as they call them, they're books that were returned but undamaged, and so they just sell them with a mark on them to let them know that, hey, this was a bargain book, and that this was actually sold once, was returned, and now it's being sold again, yada yada yada. It's the whole process. But yeah, all books I've gotten from that bargain book section in some of the bookstores I've been to, they're undamaged books. People just return them. So then it's like buying used that are in mint condition still. So good. But yeah, so we have Fury Born by Claire Legrand. I've started this multiple times. I've never actually finished it. And I think it's because I need to put more brain power than I want to into reading it, and I don't really care to do that. Now, the last books on this shelf, as soon as I get Fury Born back there, are currently missing their third installment because it's in my room, because I had started it and then didn't fucking do anything about it. And then I got the Gilded Cage, and then I just left it in my room. And I'm too lazy to go and get it, even though it's 10 steps away. So, you'll just have to deal with the fact that I don't have the third. I have only 3 out of 4 books right now on my shelf. And that is the Ember and the Ashes series. Yeah. Reaper's in my room, so I do eventually want to get through Reaper. I'm putting myself through more pressure to get through this series than I probably should be, because I love it, but I also want to read other books. I'm really bad at staying consistent. Just because I don't want to move my chair, we're going to do the last shelf and a half on that bookcase after I get through these ones. Frankly, that's just because I'm now too lazy to move everything. Okay, Alright. Hello. Welcome. And now this shelf, I'm not actually going to take out any of the books. I have a bookmark. I'm just gonna lower the camera. And as you can see how I hook this up to my fucking, but I'm lowering it because this entire shelf is just Cassandra Clare. It is just Mortal Instruments, Infernal Devices, Bane Chronicles, 10th Anniversary of City of Bones, Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy, and then the last one is the Mortal Instruments coloring book. And I don't feel like taking all of that out. Now, we're gonna go even lower onto the floor. I'm actually gonna sit on the floor. Just realized my mic would not have been working that entire time to catch my voice, so audio probably changed for a brief moment. Let's put this over here. I'm so bad at my job. Next we have Eon, and Iana. Okay. Look, I keep starting this book in really bad times in my life. I love the beginning. I love I love everything about the concept of this. I want to continue reading it. I just keep picking it up at the wrong moments in time. Something similar happens with this next trilogy we're gonna pick up, which is it's not actually called the Arc of a Scythe. I've always started reading this book and I've never actually finished because things happen while I'm reading it and life is uprooted and it sucks. God, I really do hate it. I hate what's happened with that. Anyways, that shelf is done. If you can tell I'm going through this a lot faster, I applaud you, because I am, because this video is already going to be daunting to edit, and I'm going to be real with you here. I don't know if I'm going to get this video out on time, even though it is Tuesday that I'm recording this, and I have today and tomorrow off, so I can spend the time editing this video. However, this video is long, and it is... The moment I end this video, the moment this video is ending, I'm gonna tell you exactly how long I recorded this video, and then that can tell you exactly how much was cut. And I'm leaving that part in. I'm also leaving this part in. For future reference to me. So now we are on the very bottom shelf, of which you can't really see. It is literally just paperbacks with a few hardcovers at the end. And yeah, so actually something about how I organized my shelves, getting on to this, is that the lower I got in the shelves, it was a case of I would probably never read them, or I have DNF'd them, or something of the like, that they're not as important to me. And that's what this entire bottom shelf is too. Books I have either read and not finished, and probably will never finish. Who knows what will happen in the future though. So our first one is probably actually not a duology. There's probably more to the series. But for right now, in my case of the world, because I have no object, I have no awareness of anything outside of this room, is The Blood Rose Rebellion by Rosalind Eves. This first book was fine. Nothing spectacular. The second book here, slow as balls. Slow as balls. And so I never finished it. I didn't even get that far into it, because I just couldn't read it. And like, I get it, some books are slow to start and then they pick up, but like, oh my god, I didn't want to. I just really didn't want to. Okay, this one is actually not one that I will never read. I will read it. Eventually. Which is The Night Circus. This one I will actually definitely read. It's a book I have actually always wanted since I heard about it. When did this come out? So this came out in 2011. This is a very old book. But I heard about it probably in 2016, 2017, and I was intrigued. And I'm still intrigued. So I am going to read this. It's just not high on my shelves because I'm going to say this right now. You've probably noticed most of my books are also organized by height. This book does not match any other books I have in height. None of my paperback books match this in height. This is shorter. And so having one shorter book in with those, oh, that would trigger me so bad. Oh, it's so awful. So it's down here. But I will read it someday. I'm very intrigued by this book, very much, and would love to read it. Next is the paperback version of The Red Queen. Something that I didn't mention way up there with the whole Red Queen series is I have not read Warstorm, and I honestly don't know if I should. I have not heard great things about the ending of this series, and so I'm scared to actually read it because I feel like it's not going to be great. It's not going to be a good ending. And by that, I don't mean, oh, happily ever after. No, I mean it's just going to be like, what? If that makes sense. But, so that's why I haven't actually finished reading the series. I'm pretty sure I have book talks on all of the books I've read. Pretty sure I have one on Red Queen, Glass Sword, and King's Cage. Maybe. I'm almost positive about Red Queen, Glass Sword, not as positive about King's Cage, and then obviously I haven't done one on, Warstorm. Next, we have a book series I bought the first 2 books of because they looked pretty. And it was a mistake. So, we have Snow Like Ashes and Frost Like Night. Both by Sarah Roche. Now, the concept is interesting. The writing is what makes this fall. I don't... Why do people have such great concepts and their writing just fails the concept? Why? Why is this the thing that keeps happening? I'm tired of it happening. I just wish it was not like this. But you know what? It's fine. We'll live with it. I just have these books now that I will likely never read. Next, we have Falling Kingdoms. I have 4 books. I have partially read book 1 and none of the others. It's not that it's bad. It's not. It's good writing. It's a good concept. I don't know why. I just can't get... it's not that I can't get into it. I get into it pretty well. Things just... it's like with Scythe and Eon. I like the books. I do. Just things keep happening whenever I read them, so now it's like, well, should I actually read it? Or should I not? And also, I don't even have the full complete series, but you know what? That's fine. Next, we have The Divergent. This is down here for a very specific reason. I don't like the Divergent series. I've done videos on this, and I've done videos on these books. I'm pretty sure I have. And I don't know if I portrayed it because I wanted to be liked on the internet back then. I don't give a shit about that anymore. These books This one, fine. This one started going down the hill. This one, awful. And this I couldn't even get through. So, those are my thoughts on it. My real thoughts. I don't know if I ever said that in my first book talks about it, but those are my thoughts. And I'm sorry to anyone who actually likes this series, but it's awful. It's not right. And it had a promising start, but it went downhill. Next, much like Hush Hush, I have fallen. I've started it many times and I will never finish it. It's just too heavy in the romance. It's just not for me. Not anymore. Maybe when I was 16, but not now. Next, we have Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children trilogy. I've read the first book. And I know this is a very popular series. I know a lot of people love these books. They just don't hit it for me. Honestly, I don't know why. Like, they seem like they would fit right into my alley, but they don't. And so, I'm here, and they're down here. Alright, next, we have this thing. This is a collection of 5 novellas, I'd say. And, this was free. I got it for free. And that's why I still have it. And some of these would actually be interesting to me, I think. So that's probably why I keep it. Now, we have Magic, Dark, and Strange. This isn't down here because I will never read it. This is down here just because I needed something to fill the gap down here, and this was fit enough to fill that tiny little gap. So that's why it's down here. It's still, I still want to read it. It's such a light read that I do want to read it. I just don't know when I want to read it. We'll see. Maybe eventually. But, yeah, so next we have Messenger of Fear by Michael Grant. This was $6. I'll never read it. I bought it on impulse. It was $6. What do you expect from me? I'm pretty consistent in the fact that I will buy anything that's book related. Alright, next we have The Chronicles of Nick, 2 of the books I've never read. I bought these at Value Village, and yeah, so that's why I have them. I don't actually read them. I've never read them. I will never read them. They're just here in my shelf. I should really get rid of some of the books that I will never read and that are just taking up space in my shelves. Precious space. Next we have The Midnight Palace, impulse buy. That's all I'm saying on that. It was also probably $6. Next we have Ash. This is a fairy tale retelling of Cinderella, and it involves the Fae and stuff like that. And I would love to read it. It's such a small book. I would love to read it. I just can never find a time when I would actually read it. Next we have Savage by Thomas E. Nagoski. Probably never gonna read it. I don't know why I bought it. It was an impulse buy. Alright, we're done with this side. Now we can go to the last 2 shelves, and I can get off the floor and get my legs to wake up. So, I'll be back with you in a second. These are the last 2 shelves that I have for books. And then I can start editing this video. It's gonna take a long time. Hopefully it's out in time. Alright, let's get on to this. So, first things first, I have a bookmark. This is one of my store-bought bookmarks. A good book never goes out of style. Now, we have House of Dragons by Jessica Cluess. And let us have a moment of silence for the fact that this will never see its sequel because Jessica Cluess got canceled, because cancel culture is the thing, and oh my god, I hate cancel culture. Can you tell? Next, we have Flamefall. Still need to get the first book, which is Fireborn. The name's right here. Don't know anything about it. There's a reason for that. Next, we have All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. Now, I know there's a sequel out there to this. I know. I have not read this. I started it. I actually marked my place. Page 34, that's how far I got. Next, we have The Winter Duke. Also, I'm hurrying this up because my camera's battery is about to die. So, we have The Winter Duke by Claire Eliza Bartlett. I started this, never finished it. Next, we have Seasons of the Storm by El Cosimano. It was good. I just DNF'd it because things happened in my life. Next, we have, oh my god, how did Heart of Iron get this destroyed? Oh my god, I need a new Heart of Iron copy so I can get rid of this one. But we have Heart of Iron and Soul of Stars. Honestly, really, really good, really solid sci-fi duology. I really loved it. Next, we have Jade Fire Gold by June Colton? I don't know. Next, we have a duology that had an end I wasn't too big a fan of. I also don't remember the end of this. I just know I was not very satisfied by this. But I loved this one because the concept of everything, oh my god, so good. Next, we have, I'm gonna butcher this name. I'm sorry to this author who I know has a YouTube channel because she ranted about the Mulan, live action Mulan movie. And I'm so sorry. I am going to butcher this name. Ziran Zhao? I don't know. Iron Widow. I do want to read it. I would love to read it. I just need time. Well, no, I need to actually get to it. Now, we also have The Stars Never Rise by Rachel Vincent. This was a bargain book. I've never read it. I actually don't know anything about it, and we're gonna keep it that way. Next, we have The Keeper of Night by Kylie Lee Baker. Still really love that art style. It's so nice. This is based in British and Japanese folklore, so that's nice. Next, we have Flame in the Mist and its sequel that had a cover change in the middle of the fucking series. Smoke in the Sun by Renee Adaya. Adaya? Yeah, we'll say that. Eddie? I don't know. Good, lovely book, loved it. Couldn't wait for the sequel when I saw this. Bullshit. Excuse me. Like, if you had just omitted the face, darkened the background by a lot, made it similar to this, isolated these two little dragons here, and kept these blossoms, it would have been such a good cover to match this one. And yet you didn't. Next, we have Crown of Oblivion by Julie Eschbau. Ending of this felt rushed, but you know what? Who cares, right? Who cares what I think? Next, we have Ever Cursed by Cody and Hedu. Interesting book. I have not finished it. I'm listening to it when I draw, so when I draw, I will be listening to it. Next, we have Nameless Queen by Rebecca McLaughlin. I've never read it. I don't know what it's about. Moving on. I have Ship of Smoke and Steel, of which I have read, and its sequel, City of Stone and Silence, of which I have not. I started it, I think. I literally got to chapter 1 and shut the book. Anyways, decent book. I'm actually kind of looking forward to where this goes. I just need to get the guts to read it again, and it's just the writing style's a bit difficult for me to get into, and so that's why I haven't actually finished the series. It's interesting, and I can get past the writing style if I'm just a little more patient. Right now, I'm not that patient, so City of Stone and Silence is going to stay on my shelf unread until I feel like going back into it. We have The Other Side of the Sky, which I finally bought, and its sequel, Beyond the End of the World. Now, the whole thing between where this comes from, how you get from this to End of World, that's very interesting. And I'm very intrigued to read that. Now we have 12 more books left. Wow. Starting off, we have The Queen's Assassin. I love the cover. Next, we have another set of books that are misleading in their cover art. They look like fantasy, don't they? They're not. But you know what? At some point, I might want to deviate from fantasy and sci-fi, and so these are here. Do I know when and if I'm ever going to deviate from it? No. Next, we have The Shadow Bright and Burning and A Poison Dark and Drowning. I need to get the third book of these. Hopefully they haven't halted selling these for Jessica Clueless, because I do want to read. Okay, I originally didn't want to read the last book in this, the third book in this series, but I have remembered what these are like. I know that I didn't particularly like the ending of this book, but that does not mean I should boycott the series. I do love the series. I just didn't particularly agree with the ending of the second book, which hopefully can be fixed in the third, and so I do plan on getting the third eventually. Actually, probably on my next buy, just in case they decide to stop printing that book, because then I'm going to have a hell of a time trying to find it. Next, we have the quadrilogy of the Mortal Engines, a middle grade series. I think it's middle grade. It intrigues me because it's got like that steampunk vibe to it. And I haven't read a lot of steampunk vibe books. But I would love to. That's just the thing I would love to do, and I just haven't done a lot of that. And so I do want to read this, and I will. Eventually, even though I've had these on my shelves for probably 2 years now. And lastly, I have 3 of the Percy Jackson and Olympian books. This I got for free. I actually got all of these for free, actually. This I got from a food bank. These 2 I got from a little box of books that I got for free. And it had a lot of books. It had like Iana. It had that collection called Shapeshifters. It had these 2 in it. It had a bunch of other books, and I gave away most of the other books because they weren't in my genre. Alright, so that was my bookshelf tour. All of my books. I did a little bit of explaining how I organized some of these books, and I didn't explain some others, so sorry. I don't feel like talking anymore. But yeah, so that was my updated bookshelf tour. I probably won't do another one of these for another 4 years. But here we are. I'm sorry that this is such a long video. But if you stuck through, good job. You did it. And I appreciate it. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you want to see more content from me, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell so you get notified when I post a new video, because sometimes I miss my upload date, like I did last week. And if you want to buy my book, take a look at it, just whatever, the links for it are in the description below, as well as for my second book, which is coming out on December 16th, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye! I just checked my audio file. This video, unedited, is 2 fucking hours long. Be grateful I did this and I sacrificed 2 hours of my day. And apparently that's how long my camera's battery lasts. But yeah. Alright, now this is goodbye. Bye. See ya. Now I gotta edit a 2 hour long video.